welcome to today's short lower body and abs video. We're going to use some toys today. So ideally, if you have one of these little mini stability balls, that's going to work the best. But if not, you should look into getting one actually, because they're like 15 bucks, maybe if that. You can order them online at a bunch of different stores. And I think this one's like 9 inches in diameter. You can get like little bigger ones as well, but they are great for so many things. But if you don't have one of these, that's okay, because you can just kind of ball up a towel, or I roll the towel here. So I'll do it with the towel today to show you that it can be done. But the ball just makes things a little bit smoother and, you know, like rollier. But let's get started. So we'll get right into it today with some abs. So if you have the ball or a towel, placing it just behind your low back, we're going to place our feet on the floor about hip distance apart. And we'll start, so I guess you're sitting up straight kind of to start with. And then you want to kind of scoop that low belly, tucking that tailbone a little bit forward. So then you're leaning back a little bit on your ball or towel. The farther back you lean, the harder it's going to go. So if you put your towel and you're leaning all the way down here, it's going to be a little bit harder than if you're sitting up. So maybe start sitting up and then you can adjust and going down. Whew, okay, so we're going to start making sure chest is wide. And we'll start just by lifting one arm up and lowering back down. Other arm is up and back down. So just start with one arm at a time. Breathing each time, of course. And then if you want, if you can keep your lower body totally still, you can add both arms up and both arms down. So if you notice your feet are trying to move, your back's moving a lot, stick with one arm. And try not to bring your shoulders like hunched up to your ears. Try to keep them not like this and keep them down. Let's do 3 more. Even just sitting in this kind of reclined position, definitely get a little shake on. And the last one. And then bring your spine forward to sit up. We'll take a little break. So the next move, you can stick with what we were doing, or if you want to add on, we will add on here. So again, leaning back a little bit. And now keeping lower body still again. Just rotating your body to the side and back. We'll do the same side and back. So the hard part here is keeping knees totally still and feet totally still. And thinking about kind of bringing that lower right rib to your left hip. So it's not just your arms swinging side to side, it's really that torso. And we'll start going on the other side. I think we did about 7 on the other side. And you'll notice I'm not rotating that much because it's my torso really moving and my knees and feet staying still. Let's do 2 more here. And then bring your spine forward to sit up. So again, we're going to move on to one more series in this kind of half roll back. Again, you can choose whatever you want to stay with, or again, if you want to progress and add on, we will take an inhale. As you exhale, leaning back into that ball or towel. And now as one arm goes up, the opposite leg is going to come to tabletop, lower down. Opposite arm and leg up and down. I'm moving very slowly here to control my pelvis and my hips. You don't want to be rocking all over the place. And you don't want your spine going back and forth, up and down. And you're always staying wide across the chest. You're not caving in your chest. Shoulders are out of your ears. Let's do 2 more on each side. So I think I actually have like one more on this side. And then coming to sit up. Oh, hopefully your abs are a little warmed up now. Switching to lying down. Let's place your ball or towel between your knees, and you're just holding it there, not squeezing or anything crazy. Let's get into kind of our bridge position. So your heels hip width apart and about a hand's distance from your bum. Shoulders are down, arms are down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lifting your hips up and inhaling down. So we'll start just with these hip lifts, and the ball or towel is going to make your knees stay where they are. So you're gonna notice if you find this a little bit more challenging than normal, it could be because normally your knees are moving a lot more than they are right now. So reaching knees over toes, hips are coming up at the same time and down at the same time. We'll do 2 more here for our warm up. And down. And now we're going to come up into our bridge, lower down, bring our legs to tabletop, lower them down, bridge up, down, legs come to tabletop, and down. So as we're doing this, our spine is staying neutral. So the only thing that's happening here is my hips are hinging my legs up, and hips are hinging up here. Knees are not coming in past my hips. They're not coming in towards my belly button. And doing this with control so that your back isn't flattening against the mat or creating a big arch and your ribs aren't popping up. Keep those ribs like knitted down together when you're bridging up and when your legs are coming up. Let's do 2 more. And last one here. Good. Taking a little break here. Now we're going to move on to single leg bridge work. So on the ball, this is a lot more challenging because it's kind of rolly and you have a bit of that instability. Otherwise, you can just use your towel, put it under one leg, still hip distance apart. Take an inhale, and transfer the weight to the foot that's on the ground, not on the towel. So transferring the weight to your right foot, if you're like me. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lifting your hips up, checking that they're level, even though one foot's a little bit higher, and inhaling back down. Coming up and down. So like I said, if you're on a ball, it's a lot more challenging than on the towel, but the towel still is a little bit different because you do have a bit of that instability. Let's do 3 more. Two. And 1. And now if you have the ball, you can kind of roll out your leg. Otherwise, if you have the towel, it's probably not going to work as well. So you just have to kind of like pretend to do the movement. So take an inhale. As you exhale, come up. And you're going to kind of roll that left leg out if you're on the ball. If you're rolling back and forward. Sorry, oops, there's my chair that we're going to need later. And back. Rolling over the ball, back. Trying to keep that hip height. And back. 2 more times. And back. Keep that hip up. And back. And then finding your towel or your ball, rolling down or coming down. So we will transfer to the other side. Getting into that good bridging position. Take an inhale. Transfer the weight to now your other foot. So with your left foot if you're like me. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lifting up and back down. exhaling, coming up, inhaling down, trying to keep the knees the same width apart the entire time. So you might be a little bit more conscious now of like, are your knees moving? Because when we had the towel or the ball between them, they were forced to stay the same width. But now you might kind of look and say, oh, my knees are moving. So it's good sometimes to add props because it gives you different awareness of how your body's moving. Let's do 2 more. Keeping those shoulders out of your ear. And last one. And then coming up and pretending like your foot's on a ball and you're rolling out on the ball and back. So if you're using the ball is staying. It's kind of like a rolling under your foot and back. Rolling and back. Rolling back. Try to keep that hip height. Breathe through it. Oh, I have really tight hamstrings today. This is a struggle on this side. Let's do 2 more. If you have tight hamstrings, oh, like me, I'm getting a cramp. You can just take a second. Okay, let's, I'm sure you guys did too at home. Okay. Oh, and back. Okay. A little break for the legs, and we will come up to some more ab work. So let's bring one leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop, and have them about hip distance apart. So you have room to kind of reach through your legs. So let's take an inhale. As you exhale, coming up, trying to get those shoulders off the mat. We're going to reach our towel or ball through our legs, pass it through to the other side, reach around, pass through the other leg. So we're going to start just by, we're kind of making like a figure 8 here through our legs. And if you're able to do this with control, keeping your knees over hips, you can start to add an extension. So as you pass behind the one knee, the other leg extends out, coming back, extending the other leg out as you pass through. Try to keep those shoulders off the mat. And try not to let your knees come in past the hip. Reaching that ball or towel. Let's do 2 more on each side. And the last one. Coming down, taking a second here. You can kind of sway your legs side to side. Okay. So arms up, let's bring one leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop. Take an inhale as you exhale, coming up. And you're going to put the towel between your knees. And then knees reach out, arms are back. Coming forward, grabbing your towel. Legs reach out, arms reach out, coming back. So you're just transferring the towel or ball back and forth. Head can be down or up for this. You can have your head down the entire time if you're finding it hard on your neck. And really trying to keep that neutral spine. So again, ribs aren't popping up too high, back's not flattening against the mat. 2 more here. And last one. And coming down. Again, you can sway your legs side to side, hug them into your chest. Whatever you like to do. Okay. So now coming up onto our forearms. So fingers are pointing towards our bum, elbows kind of beneath our shoulders. Oh, my towel's unrolling. I kind of tucked it in here and made a little towel. This also works if you just literally ball up your towel. Like you don't have to roll it all. kind of nice like this. I just thought it looked better than me having like a messy ball. Okay, so towel's gonna go, or ball's gonna go between, not right on the ankle joint, but just slightly above them, the ankles. Legs can be in tabletop the entire time here, or they can be out. And we're gonna kind of crisscross. So we're kind of rolling the ball or the towel between our legs. To be honest, I haven't done this with a towel before, so it's a little harder. There's not that like sliding or that stickiness of the ball. And you're trying to keep that lower back off the ground. You can just, if you're having troubles like me, you can just crisscross your legs. Or if you have the ball, really maintain that control of rolling the ball. So again, I'm kind of up just above my tailbone, not letting my lower back sink in, just as wide. Let's go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down. And then coming up for our standing portion. Okay, so you don't need to have a chair or anything to hold on to. It's just easier. This is a little bit of the bar inspired portion of the video. So I'm just gonna, there goes my ball. I'm just gonna have my chair here, just as something to gently hold on to as if we were at the bar. That's B-A-R-R-E, not B-A-R, the bar. And I'm gonna place my towel behind my knee, or if you have a ball. So planting your other foot down and your towel behind your leg here. Depending on how slippery your clothing is, this might just fall off, who knows. Hips are squared forward, shoulders are squared forward, and we're going to just lift that leg back, kind of like we're kicking through our bottom foot, squeezing the thumb, back of the leg, and hips are staying still, so you can kind of hold on to your hips. I'm not trying to open to the side yet or anything, just staying squared. This would also be a great time if you had ankle weights. You can add on ankle weights. Let's do 2 more. 2. And then we're gonna pulse out there. So holding that leg and just little pulses. And do 10. So we've got 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a second, kind of readjust. And then we're gonna go to the side. So again, tucking in that ball or towel. And now we're gonna open to the side and coming back. Side and back. So I'm sure you're feeling this actually in your stabilizing leg as well, because it's using to balance. And notice my torso isn't moving. So it's just my low body here. My torso is not leaning to the side as I do this. Other leg is still. Hips are still all pointed forwards. Let's do 3 more. 2 and 1. And then we pulse to the side for 10. 8 more here. 7, 6, 5, 4. These are really slippery pants. 3, 2, and 1. Coming down. I'm going to switch to the ball just for the other leg. So other leg now, ball or towel behind you. Again, hips are squared to the front, and we're kicking back and forward, back and forward. Torso is still. You've got neutral spine, so your back isn't arching or making any big humps. So I'm not arching like this with my back. I'm also not tucking my pelvis under. It's kind of that neutral spine. So if I was up against a wall, I could fit a great size space beneath my lower back. 2 more. And then we'll pulse it out. So for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then to the side, square those hips and lifting up. So again, you could totally do this without the ball or towel and just ankle weights. You could do just resistance bands above your knee wrapped around. Standing work is so good because it works on your balance, your ankle stability in the other standing leg. Let's do 3 more here. Again, torso is relatively still. Last one. And then we pulse it out on the side here for 10. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, a little bit more standing work. So again, you can do towel, ball, whatever you like, beneath your foot, and we're gonna do kind of single leg squats. So, placing that foot beneath, that ball beneath one foot, other foot, I'm actually gonna do kind of close squats today. So the other foot's about just hip distance apart, and then coming down and squatting up. If you're on the ball, it's super unstable. This definitely adds a level of challenge, and you can see my leg trying to be still, but it's definitely moving. And again, with squats, it's like you're trying to sit back in a chair in that neutral spine, so my chest is visible, it's not pointed down to the ground, no creases in your neck. 2 more. And then on the next one, we're gonna pulse in the basement. Stay here, so we're just gonna go for 10. Staying low and just going up and down about an inch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up, switching sides. And again, you could be holding the bar for this if you need to. Foot, get on my ball here. Okay. And again, sitting back like we're sitting in a chair. You can do whatever you want with your hands. I just find this kind of helps me with that neutral spine, and to keep my shoulders out of my ears and my chest wide. Personally, when I do kind of Janie arms, my shoulders start to kind of sink up. Struggling a little more with this leg here. And that's why it's always good too to do unilateral work. So like one side at a time, because we always have one stronger side of our body and one stronger limb. And I'm still trying to get my hips kind of level. So even though one is raised, I'm still trying to come down evenly and come up. 2 more here. Last one. And then we'll pulse it out for 10. So getting low and then going up and down an inch. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up. Ooh. Okay, to finish this bar series, you could be holding your ball, your towel, you could be holding nothing if you want. Let's do our feet wide. Let's do some plie squats first. So feet are wide, heels are pointed almost towards each other, and we're just gonna hold our ball to start with. So it's kind of like we're sitting down, and instead of our chair being really behind us, it's a little bit closer to us, to our feet, and coming up. Knees are pointing in the same direction as our toes. Now thinking about squeezing through the side of your bum, side of your thighs, also some inner thighs here. Pressing through those heels. And now we can start to add an arm lift. So coming down, lifting your arm, and up, down, arms come up. Let's do 2 more with these arm lifts. Last one, except for eye wide. We're gonna come back down and just hold here and do 10 arm lifts. So staying low, shoulders are down, spine's neutral. I think we have 5 more. 4, 3, stay low, 2, and 1. Coming up, take it out. Whew. Okay. We're gonna finish down on the ground. So you know your ball or your towel. I'll go back to towel. Just show you guys. Don't know why this keeps unraveling on me, but I'll just kind of jam it in there. Okay. Finishing with a little bit of side planks. So I'm gonna get my timer started so we're even on each side. Oh my gosh, why isn't this working? Okay. So you can do this again, no ball or towel. Coming on to your side, and you can again choose, as always, if you wanna do 2 knees, 1 knee, 1 foot, or 2 feet. And no matter what you're doing, I'm gonna start my timer now. Or not, because it makes me weird. Okay. Elbow beneath shoulder, forearm on the ground. Grabbing your towel if you're using it. Coming up. So before you do anything, making sure hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. You're using your waist to lift you up. You're not just pushing through your elbow and your feet. So you just hold here. You can hold with your arm in the air. Next level, keeping lower body still, diving under and reaching up. Diving under and reaching up. So we're threading the needle under and up. Do 10 of these, or we'll just do until my timer hits a certain time. I'm not going to tell you the time or else you're going to not want to do it. Let's say we have 9 more seconds. Again, checking in, lower body still, waist is holding you up. Last one here. And lowering down. You can just roll over or flip over. Okay. So again, choosing whatever you're going to do. Elbows beneath forearm. Starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. So, coming up. Again, before you do anything with the threading the needle, making sure shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. Your waist is engaged and lifting you up, belly's drawn in. You can just hold here, you can hold in the air, or you can do the threading the needle under and up. So we're rotating our torso. And having the ball or the towel makes it a little harder than just your hand, because you need to have this height and be able to reach this big thing kind of underneath you. Whereas if it's just your hand, you can be a lot lower and kind of cheat. Where are we at for time? Okay. Breathing through it. Five more seconds. So this is probably the last one here. And then lowering down, coming up. Whew. Okay, let's finish with a little bit of stretching. So just to stretch out our obliques that we just worked, we'll take one foot behind the other. That foot that just reached behind you, that same arm's gonna reach up. I'm gonna reach up and over. So really lengthen your spine here, don't just crunch to the side. Think about your spine reaching up and over, making a nice arc, getting a nice stretch all through the side here. And then we'll switch sides. Other leg goes behind. Arm reaches up, and you reach up and over with your spine. Breathing through it. Coming back. We'll do a little standing for your core stretch so you can hold on to your chair again. One ankle comes over the knee, sitting back, stretching out those bums and hamstrings that we worked, the inner thigh. And then switching sides, switching legs. Great. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Let me know what you want to see, if there's any certain props you want to use, like more of the ball, if you like resistance bands, if you want me to do some with ankle weights on, I can, other weights. Leave a comment here or on my Instagram at Pilates by Becky, and hope to see you again. Thanks.